Okay, we are talking again about the pyramid of optimal physical performance. And one of the things I want to talk about is movement quality and joint stability. Now, we've already talked a little bit about joint stability, but I have a perfect model here who's going to represent this well. And then we're also going to talk about movement quality. But one of the reasons why I wanted Bjorn, say hi, Bjorn.
Hi, I'm Bjorn.
One of the reasons why I wanted Bjorn to demonstrate this is, why don't you explain what your challenge is? I mean, in terms of your physical challenges, what have you been through?
Yep, so I'm 22 and I was born with a club foot, and what that basically meant was ultimately I have no mobility in my left foot. I can't bend it at all because it was fixated, and as a result I have limited movement in my left leg and I have difficulty performing exercises as a result.
Yeah, so when he talks about his movement, so he doesn't have that plantar and dorsiflexion. So when Bjorn came in and he wants to obviously work out, Bjorn's very fit in the upper body, but he wants to get more leg activity. So let's demonstrate kind of what the squat pattern will look like. And we've got Bjorn's shoes off so you can see, and Mary, why don't you come around here where you can see his patterning when he squats. So if you go ahead and squat down, Bjorn, you can see this foot starts to externally rotate, and what he's really doing, come on up, is you got to get a shot of his left foot, because you can really see how much his, obviously because he has no mobility here, go ahead and squat. You see how he has to elevate it. Okay, so come back up. So it really felt like Bjorn was really only work, did it not? What did it feel like? Like you were only doing?
Couldn't really work out my left leg, so I kind of avoided working out the lower body.
Yeah, so and then when you would, you were drifting to the right quite a bit, so it literally felt like he was doing just a squat with a single leg. So why don't you put your shoes on and we'll show them what we did. So you can always do some workarounds, no matter what your injury's been, what type of dysfunction you have, there's always a workaround. There's always a way to compensate. I mean, if you have compensation of movement patterns, there's always ways we can work around that. So let's get the feet elevated. So we're gonna elevate his heels. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a dumbbell to counterbalance. So he can sit back in his heels. Okay, so let's get a side shot. You can see how nice his posture is. Let's come over here. Go ahead, squat down. We'll do a 4 count. And you see how beautifully he squats and up. So now, elevating his heel with his board, he doesn't have to have that plantar and dorsiflexion in the ankle here. Go down again. So this board will allow him to sit back. The dumbbell helps him counterbalance with good tall posture. Very nice, up. And then if you come around here, Mary, you can see, if you watch his patella, his kneecaps here, and how they track. Go ahead and squat, Bjorn. It's just a beautiful squat pattern. Whereas previously what was happening is this knee was caving in. You can see how much his left foot was elevating. Come up again. Okay, very nice. So we've done this with several clients that have had everything from ankle fusions. Now, did you actually have the joint fused yourself?
Yep.
Okay, so you've had how many surgeries on that?
Over 10 surgeries on my left leg.
Okay.
Total.
And so just doing this, how did this feel?
I can feel it in my left quad.
For the first time
Yeah.
ever? Okay, so another thing we did is we got into our mad scientist mode and we kind of experimented here. So let's show them what we came up with. So what Bjorn is going to do is he's going to do a little bit of isometric contraction, but he's going to have a little movement in here. What we're really trying to do is we're trying to build up his glutes as well as his quads, but to get more of his glutes, he's going to elevate his toe a little bit, really drive through the heel. And what he's looking to do, let's get a little wider stance on that right foot. Yep. So you can see he's got good tall posture here. His knee wants to line up with this big toe and the next toe over and begin. So he's just got these small little movements, but they're very deliberate. A good heel drive to really engage this glute. Tall. Good. You can see it's a very small movement. So we talk about joint stabilization. What we're really trying to do is work this glute up. How are we doing? You feeling that?
Yep.
Tell the camera. Tell everybody how much you're feeling that.
Feeling it.
Good. Go again. Excellent. So this gives Bjorn an opportunity to really do a single leg exercise. So let's come all the way up to the top once. Both feet. And just try and do like an eccentric where you're going to lower that one. So he just does not have the strength to do that yet. So he can't lower his body weight. He just doesn't have the stabilization strength to do that. So you can see, come up again a couple more times. Just a little movement, driving through that heel, he can really turn that glute on, okay? So again, a very dysfunctional joint, we can work around. We can work the glutes, we can work the hamstrings, we can work the quads. Okay, last exercise, let's show them. Okay, here, we're gonna do what's called a single leg founder. And the objective here is he wants to have good, strong, square, stable hips. He's going into forward flexion. If you take a look at this working, let's get this a little stiffer. So by keeping this leg stiff, point the toe, he can engage this glute while he's balancing on this leg, which is engaging this glute. Now you can see how he's got this really nice posture. This is beautiful. You can see he's got a vertical shin angle, but his knee is slightly bent. As soon as we start to shift the shin angle forward, then he would work the front of his thighs. We don't want to do that. We want to really work the glutes. How are we feeling?
Feeling it.
He's getting a major glute burn. Stiffen that leg. Okay, nice and soft. So this is a great way for Bjorn to work his glutes, little hamstring, and also his calves. And relax. Good job. All right. So tell everybody, was that demanding?
Yeah.
Yeah, very demanding.
Very demanding.
Okay, so again, we can always do a workaround. No matter what your level of dysfunction, no matter what your injury, there's always a solution. So let's spin around and we'll just show how muscular his right calf is. Just flex your right calf once. Get on your toe there. He's got a very muscular right calf. Left calf, not so much, right? So what's a way we can start to build this musculature? Because he doesn't have that plantar and dorsiflexion, he can't do this. So it's hard to build the gastroc. So what he was doing with that last exercise, there's a lot of stabilization requirements here and here. So he's working his glutes, his hamstrings, and he's also getting some gastroc work. So, again, no matter what your level of dysfunction, no matter what your injury, you've been dealing with this for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So this was probably the first time in a long time that you felt like you could really condition that musculature, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and how long has it been that you've kind of not been doing any leg stuff?
Since kind of, I couldn't really focus on it ever. I kind of just avoided it.
Yeah. So one of the things you have to do is find someone who understands movement quality, find someone who can help you create specific strategies to maybe do some of these workarounds. So tomorrow what I'm going to be talking about, let's just see, what am I going to be talking about? We got to talk about 3 planes of movement. So we'll be talking about the 3 planes of movement as we finish our 28 days of the optimal physical performance. So Bjorn wants everybody to make sure if you learn something that you like the video. And do you think they should share this with all their friends
Share
and
it and
family?
give it the thumbs
Share
up.
with everybody. Share the love. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.